In this week's episode of Mobile Suit Gundam, Iron-Blooded Orphans, Atra takes a punch like a champ, Kudelia goes chasing after Fumiton, and McGillis decides to cosplay as Char Aznable. Damn, this was such an amazingly intense and slightly disturbing episode of Iron-Blooded Orphans, and there wasn't even any mobile suit action. I've said it before and I'll say it again, this is an anime series that has some balls. That scene where Biscuit and Atra were captured by Gallarhorn, and Atra was severely beaten by those two guards, was honestly incredibly disturbing to me. If it wasn't for the fact that we had that episode previous where we learned her backstory, where we got to see that she was beaten mercilessly, I wouldn't have been able to believe that scene, and luckily she even backed that up quite a bit. Still, that being said, that was an incredibly shocking scene for this episode, and that's just one of the amazing scenes in this week's episode of Iron-Blooded Orphans, which is moving the story along at a breakneck pace, and yet I'm still not upset that there really aren't any mobile suit battles. This is an episode that has been completely carried by its characters, their motivations, and wanting to see where they're going to be going in the story, and I think that's pretty freaking awesome. Let me go ahead and just talk about McGillis, though, for a second. It's obvious that he is the masked man, but why in the hell is he even doing this? What I also really like is that his mask is just like so overly elaborate. It's all gold. It's got these like little things over the eye holes which can open and close. It's just so ridiculous. He only exists in this episode to basically just be a big asshole and reveal everything to Kudelia Ina Bernstein, and basically saying that, look, Fumiton was planning on having you killed. That's the way it's gonna be at the end of the day. Fumiton runs away, Kudelia goes chasing after her, and this is really bad because while all of this was going on, Biscuit's brother completely sold out Biscuit and Atra to Gallarhorn, and Atra says that she's actually Kudelia, basically posing as her. And this is my biggest problem with the episode. I'm not gonna focus on it too much, but it just blows my mind that the Gallarhorn organization, which basically controls all of Earth, the Earth sphere, and everything that practically goes on in the space colonies, doesn't even have, like, a picture of the real Kudelia Ina Bernstein. Like, they didn't tell these guards to actually do a little bit of research before they found this cute little girl and decided to beat the ever-living shit out of her. I don't know. It's a little strange to me, but if you manage to just forget about that, this was still a pretty awesome episode. Now, what's really interesting about the character of Savarin, that is Biscuit's brother, is that the main reason that he is so upset is because he doesn't basically want all of the people who live in the slums to cause all of this trouble for Gallarhorn. It's just going to mean more trouble in the future. It's going to mean more war, and that's why they also need Kudelia Ina Bernstein. If they have her, they can prevent something really, really big. I actually like that they decided to do this with the character of Savarin because it doesn't just paint him as a completely evil guy. He does have good intentions, but the ways that he's going about it aren't exactly admirable. Biscuit and Atra are eventually picked up by Tekkadan. However, while all of this is going on, we have this other guy by the name of Mr. Navano who is leading this union, which are literally getting ready to just march down the street with these mechs and guns in hands so that they can oppose Gallarhorn. It's a little ridiculous, and it really looks like they're actually marching to their deaths. I really can't wait to see how things are going to escalate in the next episode of the series. Other little moments in this episode that just really stick out in my mind. There was that great scene with Naze Turbin, him hanging out with his harem this week, which definitely proved yet again that he is the king of the harems in space. And of course, we got some great teases in this episode. We got our very first glimpse of the Kamaris Gundam. Yes, that seems to be the one that Gaileo is actually going to be piloting, with Ein, who actually seems like he's going to be going with the Schwalbe Greys from now on. So he's definitely getting something of an upgrade, but I can't wait to see that Kamaris in action. It looks really awesome and looks very much like a traditional Gundam. Speaking of which, it is very surprising that we've had this many episodes without any mobile suit action whatsoever, and still it's not an off-putting episode. That's really the best thing about this series. It is really strengthened by its characters and getting to see them grow as the series goes on. And considering we only have so much time left, I just really want a second season for Iron-Blooded Orphans. I don't know if they're truly going to be able to wrap up everything, but maybe they are. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. I mean, all they really got to do is get Kudelia Ina Bernstein to Earth. They're practically there. Although this is going to instigate some sort of, like, ridiculous war war or some sort of rebellion. All I know is it's going to be leading to some great mobile suit action, and I cannot wait to see that. So, what's the rundown on this week's episode of Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans? This was just a really tense episode right here. Basically, that whole interrogation scene just had me at the edge of my seat the entire time. It was really crazy that they were able to go there, but then I realized that's pretty much the normal thing for Iron-Blooded Orphans, is seeing these young orphan kid characters going through just the most intense stuff possible, and yet they're still standing, and they're just as tough as the adults that they're going up against. And yet, that's also very sad and depressing all at the same time. There's always these little constant reminders of the show that you're watching is not just a happy-go-lucky, we're gonna pilot the robot and save the universe series. It really sort of makes you reflect on what's going on in the real world, and how there are actually things that are very similar to this that are going on. Of course, minor all of the giant robots and all that jazz. The thing I look forward to seeing most in the rest of the series has got to be McGillis as the Char clone of the series. It's a grand tradition that just about every single Gundam anime has a villain who wears a mask and sort of has like a similar personality to the original Char Aznable, who sort of like made the groundwork for this type of character. I just can't wait to see why McGillis is doing this and going to such extremes to wear this elaborate outfit. I just cannot wait to see what his ulterior motive is going to be. On the technical side of things, this was another good looking episode. All the character designs are very distinct, and there were some very nice, intense moments this week. So, good looking episode. I just wish we had some more mobile suit action. That being said, this was still a really great episode that, again, made me really care about all of these characters. So, I'm going to give this week's episode right here a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it that much. I cannot wait to see how they're going to conclude the rest of Iron-Blooded Orphans. But if you watched this week's episode, I would love to hear your thoughts about it, and you can tell me in the comment section below. What do you think is up with McGillis as the Char Aznable clone? What are his motives for the rest of the series? And what do you want to see from the rest of Iron-Blooded Orphans? Make sure to tell me in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this review. Make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!